What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and in today's video, I'm gonna show you all of the different ways that you can use only $10,000 to start investing in real estate. I'm also gonna show you some of the places that you shouldn't put that money. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, my name's Chandler Smith, and I've been investing in real estate for the last 7 years. I currently own 99 units of rental real estate, and I love all things buy and hold real estate. And in this video, I'm gonna show you all of the different ways that you can use only $10,000 to start investing. However, all that I ask you to do is make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell so you can catch my future videos where my goal is to help you to build a huge passive income. And with that being said, I wanna jump right into my favorite way to invest $10,000 in real estate, and that is using an FHA loan. Now, the reason I love using FHA loans is they give you the ability to start investing with only 3.5% down. Just to give you some perspective on that, that means if you were buying a $100,000 property, you'd only need $3,500. And this would give you the ability to now control $100,000 worth of real estate. So if you have $10,000 to invest, this gives you the ability to purchase almost $300,000 in real estate. Well, about $285,000 to be exact, but it gives you a ton of buying power. Now, a lot of people will talk negatively about an FHA loan because of the extra fees and other things that are involved, but if you understand them, they're just like any other loan. You're gonna get hit with MIP, which is a mortgage insurance, but the reality is with getting that low of a down payment, as long as you can find a good deal, it gives you the ability to control so much more real estate, so the other fees and things that are involved are totally worth it. That's why my favorite way for you to use $10,000 to start investing is always going to be using an FHA loan so that you can control a ton of real estate. So when you think about being able to control $285,000 of real estate with just $10,000, that is nuts. The only caveat to this is you need to make sure that you buy right. You need to make sure you've got 6 months reserves. So technically it'll take a little bit more than $10,000. But if you wanted to spend $5,000 and buy less real estate and then use your other $5,000 as reserves, that can totally work. You just wanna make sure that you've got 6 months reserves so you're protected. You wanna make sure that you're purchasing a property that if you had put 25% down, it's at least getting a 10% cash on cash return. Now, a lot of people ask, Chandler, why do you run the numbers that way? The reason I do it that way is it's simple. It's going to give you a much higher cash on cash return if you're using a smaller number, as long as you're cash flow positive. So using a 25% down to run the numbers, then plugging in the 3.5% down, you'll see your cash on cash return goes up drastically, but that's just a good standard to know that it's a good deal. That way, even though you're getting a much higher cash on cash return, you know you're in a good place because you ran it as if you had put down 25%. Now, if that didn't make sense, you can go click this video and it'll explain it a little better for you. But what you need to remember is if you're going to use an FHA loan, you need to make sure that you've got 6 months reserves. You need to make sure that after you move out of the property, because remember, to get an FHA loan, you have to be living in the property. So if it's a duplex, a fourplex, you need to live in one of the units so that you can get the FHA loan. You need to make sure that once you move out, it would have at least been getting a 10% cash on cash return if you had used a 25% down. Now, when you plug in the 3.5% down, you're gonna recognize that that return is going to go way up, which is awesome, but you want a very high return with such a low down so that if you do have problems, you've got that extra cash flow to cover it. The other thing you need to remember is when you've got a big return on only 3.5% down, it's not that much money compared to a smaller return on a much larger down because it's based on the percentage return on your initial investment, or in this case, your down payment. So make sure you follow those rules. If you do follow those rules, I promise you, if you run the numbers, including that MIP and the other fees that come along with an FHA loan, this is the best way to invest $10,000 because then you can control a ton of real estate. You can live in it for a year and then you can move out, and you're gonna be in a place where you own a ton of real estate that is cash flowing like crazy with not a lot of money. So that is the first way that I think, and honestly, the best way that I think you should invest $10,000 in real estate. The next way is very similar. So I'm gonna talk about this one briefly, but that's just using a conventional loan. Now you're gonna get hit with less fees and you're gonna be able to get out of those fees down the road. And this is because you're putting 5% down. Now, everything I talked about still applies. You're not getting hit with MIP, but you're getting hit with PMI, which is the same. It's gonna be a little bit less expensive and there will be a little bit less fees on the front end, but it's gonna be the same concept where you go and buy hopefully a multifamily property, you live in one of the units, you rent out the other units, and then you move out after a year and you've got a cash flowing asset that you were able to acquire for much less. So if you're using $10,000 and you're putting 5% down, this gives you the ability to purchase $200,000 worth of real estate. Or if you're wanting to keep half of that in reserves, it gives you the ability to purchase $100,000 worth of real estate. But again, it's the same concept where you wanna make sure that the numbers work after you move out to where you could be getting at least a 10% cash on cash return if you had put 25% down. Now again, you're putting 5% down, so that return is going to be much larger when you plug it in. Don't buy a property that's only giving you a 10% cash on cash return once you move out with only a 5% or only a 3% down, because those are very thin margins. Now, option number 3 is getting into a partnership. And here's the deal. I like to stay away from partnerships because I personally like to own all my real estate. I like all of the control. I like to know that if I wanted to sell it tomorrow, I could because it's just mine and I don't need anyone else's help. However, if money is tight and you've got $10,000 and you find an incredible deal, a partnership might be a great option because you can take that incredible deal and you can bring it to an investor and you can say, look, I found an awesome deal. I'll take care of management. I'll take care of taking care of the property if you split it with me 50-50, but you provide the down payment. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of you saying, well, Chandler, if they're providing the down payment, where does your $10,000 go? And that's a great question. Here's the deal. If you can find an investor that will split it 50-50 with you and you don't have to put any of your own money in, this is the best option because now you own 50% of that real estate. You're getting appreciation, principal pay down, cash flow. You're getting all of it, but the loan is gonna be in their name and you're gonna be in a situation where you don't have to bring any money to the table. Now, the reason that I pitch this is I think this is where you should start. However, if you're a brand new investor, you don't have a lot of experience, but you do find an incredible deal, there's a good chance an experienced investor will say, look, I'll do it with you, but you gotta put some skin in the game. And this gives you the opportunity to then use that $10,000 to either keep a portion in reserves and then put a portion in, or put it all in and just understand that you need to come up with the reserves or risk it, which I wouldn't necessarily push you to, but if it gets you into a deal on an awesome fourplex or an awesome bigger complex because you were able to put down just a little bit of money and they were able to bring the bulk, but you still have 50% ownership, then this can be an awesome option. Now, I hesitate to pitch this because I personally have never used this strategy. However, I have seen other people find huge success in partnerships. And if you've got a little bit of money that you can put in, a lot of times that can push an investor over. If I'm gonna go into a property, I'm never going to give 50% ownership for them just bringing me the deal. I just wouldn't, because I know I can get a better deal than that. But if you've got skin in the game and you bring a good deal, that might be what it takes to be able to push them over the edge. Now, I'm not gonna have time in this video to cover contracts or cover that relationship, but just understand you can always find a win with partnerships. You just wanna make sure that it's with the right partner and that you're not going to get burned. And if you're bringing money to the table and it's your first deal, I would go all the way up to putting in 50% and splitting it 50-50. So even though you found the deal, if you put in 50%, they've put in 50%, and it helps you buy a really good deal, that's probably worth it. But I would not go to the point where you're finding the deal and bringing more than 50% for the deal, because that just doesn't make sense. And so hold to that rule as a minimum of only putting in 50% of the cash if you find the deal. And if you can work out a partnership where they're gonna bring money to the table and you think it's gonna be a good partnership and you're gonna have the control that you need, that can be another great option to owning real estate. Because then if you think about it, your returns should all be the same because at least they're bringing 50% to the table, and then you can get ownership of real estate a lot faster than you would have been able to otherwise. Now, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of you asking about a REIT or a real estate investment trust, and here's the deal. I'm not saying that you should never do it. I'm just saying that I've never done it, and let me share why. I don't like not having the control. I don't like that someone else is controlling my money, and maybe this is arrogant of me because I've seen some people that have done very well investing in someone else's real estate trust, but the reality for me is I love controlling my assets. I love being able to purchase them, and that's why I even stay away from partnerships, is I like knowing that I can control the real estate. I can sell it when I need to, I can raise rents when I need to, I can deal with problems when I need to, and that way I know I'm in control. Now, if you find a real estate investment trust that you're super pumped on and that you trust the person running it and the organization and you feel like the returns are awesome, I'm not gonna tell you that is a terrible place for your money because it's still in real estate, but I would pick all of the options before this option just because I like you being able to have the control. You learning for yourself how the systems work and being able to put them in place and having the ability to sell or 1031 exchange or do one of the many other things that you can do when you have control that you wouldn't be able to do if you had invested into a REIT. Now, other than a REIT, there are other options with hard money lending and other things with real estate, but I would tell you with this little amount of money, I don't think you're gonna find a situation with hard money that's safe. Because anytime I'm going to lend hard money, I wanna make sure that it's backed by their property. Now, if someone purchased a property for $90,000 and they come to you and say, look, I need $10,000, and they're willing to back that investment with a hard money loan that's paying you 12%, and if it goes bottoms up, you get ownership of the whole property, then yes, of course, that's a huge opportunity for you, because then if crap hits the fan, you get a $90,000 or what should be a $100,000 property because they're taking your money to renovate it. If you can get a deal like that where you're first in line, then jump all over it. But where I would hesitate to do this is if they've got other money lent out, you wanna make sure you're the only one in line, because if you're second in line because they've borrowed that $90,000 from somewhere else and crap hits the fan, you're gonna be out of luck. So don't jump on something just because the return is high. Make sure that it's backed by property, that you know you get ownership of that property if things do go bottoms up, and then hard money might be a good option for you. Now, I'm sure I've left other options out on the table, but these would be my go-to, and honestly, I don't think there's anyone in the world that shouldn't take advantage of either a conventional or an FHA loan to where they can get into real estate early. They can get into it with very low down, and they can get huge returns because they're controlling a ton of real estate that's going up in value and cash flowing and yielding a huge principal pay down in the process, while also giving them the opportunity to have huge tax benefits. So jump all over that conventional loan or that FHA loan, and good luck finding awesome deals. If you don't know how to run the numbers on a deal, go click this link up here. It's gonna show you how to run all the numbers on an investment property. And if you wanna know more about how to scale from no doors to over 100 doors of rental real estate, click the link below. Right now you can get my real estate investing course for $50 off. And most importantly, if you enjoyed the video, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell, because I promise you my future videos, their only purpose is to help you to build a huge passive income. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.